Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Evernote. Um, so the first time I did a systematic literature review, I pulled all the articles, I read them, I took notes on the articles, but I didn't really have a good system for keeping track of my notes, and so I had to do a lot of rereading, and it was actually a pretty frustrating experience. So I would definitely suggest talking to a few people who have done the chapter one of their dissertations and just explore a few different ways of trying to do this. The second time where I had more success, what I did is I went through and just had a Word document and I would take notes on each article. And eventually, what I would start to do is I would write about one page where, in narrative form, I would describe the study. So I would have a few sentences where I described what the sample was, what the measures were in the study, the procedure of the study, so cross-sectional design, longitudinal design. If they had an experiment, I described the conditions, and then I described the findings in the study. So I had a lot more detail than you might need for describing certain studies. But at that point in my training, I didn't really know um, how much detail to go in, so I just put all the detail in my own words in that one page write up, and I would put the first author's name and a little bit like the year, a few things, so that I could quickly search through and find those, and I would put them kind of in alphabetical order or in order by year, um, so I could kind of quickly go back and forth between my notes. So that's what I did the first time. When it came time to write a book in order to organize a book length project, it was a different developmental shift in terms of trying to organize articles. And so I talked to a variety of different people about different strategies, and I was actually between a variety of options. I tried using note cards and using more of a paper system. My mentor uses paper, files, and would stick, for each chapter, put any resources in each of those files. And then when it was time to write the chapter, he would go to that file and kind of pull things out. A guy named Mark McMinn had a very similar system, except he used electronic folders, but would basically stick articles in each folder for each chapter, and then when it was time to write, he would go and kind of work within that folder. So I kind of tried different aspects of these different kinds of approach. What ended up being most helpful for me was there was a guy, Nathan DeWall, who used Evernote, and I explored this option. What's nice about Evernote is you can create different folders. So I'm showing you kind of some of my folders for this mindfulness book. You can create a variety of different folders. And then I had one folder where I put all of my articles. So I would put my notes on the article, and then you can tag each of the things that you put in. So if I wanted to see all of the articles on, for example, contraindication, I can basically pull all of those. I've talked to a few different authors who use Evernote, and instead of having a folder for different things, what they said they did is they just had one folder and then they would use tags, and so you can create as many different tags as you want. So what was nice about that is he was doing a collaborative project and had a number of co-authors, and they all had the same folder, and then they would just tag their different notes. And I guess they had kind of a shared system of adding a variety of tags. So it's a pretty flexible system. It's nice because you can share across people. You can also, there's an app for your iPhone. So if you're just thinking about, if you're thinking about something and something comes to mind, you can enter a quick note, and so everything kind of comes to one place. If you pay for the upgrade version, which is it's less than $100 a year, you can email things to that folder, and so it'll give you a specific email address, and you can email and kind of change what you put in the title, and it'll sort things into the specific folder you want them to go into. So, long story short, Evernote is one of the ways that I've started to keep track and organize resources when I'm doing larger projects. For articles, a lot of times I can just use more of like the strategy Mark McMahon mentioned, where I will just have a folder on my computer and I'll put the articles in that way. But for these larger projects, I started shifting over to Evernote. And one of the things that's nice, I'll kind of show you how Evernote works a little bit. So the Mac and the PC are a little bit different, so you have to play around with that. But I can click on this little elephant up here, and you can snag screenshots of things and then take notes. Here is an example. And when you save these, they all go to a default folder. So for me, I have a folder where it sends all of my different notes, and then from here you can easily sort those wherever you want. So I can go down and you can either type it here and look for your mindfulness folder, or you can go down your list of folders and stick it in a folder. Yeah, that's an illustration. It actually will, you can add dates, so it'll send you like an email reminder, which is kind of useful. You can annotate the different notes. What else is useful? So you can put any sort of tags on the notes. And let's see. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to show folks. Yeah, you can email it. So I right-clicked here. You can actually share a link to the article to everyone, or you can create a link and save those within a file. The other thing that's kind of cool is if you've got a list of things, you can create a table of contents note. Here's my list for today, and then it will bring you to the note. So yeah, that's a quick overview of some of the capabilities of this program. What I would say is most helpful about it is just how quick and easy it is to send everything you have to one place. So you can snag websites, you can send PDFs and take notes alongside those PDFs. So I can kind of show you an example of what that looks like. So a lot of these, I'll have the article, and then I'll also have notes alongside it. So it's just a really flexible way. Oh yeah, that's kind of the other thing I was going to show you is you can take audio notes in here. I forget how to get to that from yeah, here it is. So you can take audio notes. Here is an example of an audio note. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I'd want to show you there, but yeah, the real helpful part is actually this ability to tag notes. Yeah, I mean, I guess one more thing I'll show you is, so I put all of my articles in one folder, and then I also, as I was writing, would just flag any just scrappings that I had, and I would put tags on those. So if I'm writing a section on contraindication, I can go back and skim through anything that I tagged under a certain label. So it's just a really flexible program where you can kind of put all sorts of little scrappings into one place, and then the ability to share that with another person and have everyone kind of using the same notes is really helpful. So there you go.